Okay, so let's come now to Asumdue Park. Mills dies. He's buried at Asumdue Park. Beautifully created. I don't know whether it was Faustina Nelson who chaired the committee or Totobi Kwati who chaired the committee, but the Mills Funeral Committee seemed to have done an excellent job. The funeral was super pristine. American Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was in attendance. Martin Newman spoke so well. It was a great event. Yeah. Mahama, the president, also spoke. Asumdue Park looked beautiful. When did you discover that it's deteriorating?
You know, when President Mills died on, so talking about me and John Mahama, why he and his people always try to play the victim as if I have issues with them. Let me tell you, Paul, President Mills died on 24th July. 26th July, in the morning, around 6 a.m., I got a call from Okujetua Blakwa. Not that we were that close, but he calls to say, oh, I'm just checking on you. Okay, well, I accept it. 2-3 minutes later, I get a call from Omani Boama. Omani Boama and Blakwa at the time were two sides of the same coin. Omani was very frontal that, well, Sami called you and he couldn't tell you what he should have told you. But anyway, yesterday, so which means 25th, the man died. The day after, we had a meeting with the new president. And a decision has been taken. He says he cannot work with you.
Oh, wow.
Yes. This is Omani Boama, an MPP boy who came through CJA.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Suddenly is calling me to tell me that the new president, and of course, subsequently the new president collapsed Information Ministry, added the communication and gave to him. Today he's collapsed the IT, added it to election directorate and given to him. So Omani is his real right-hand man. So Omani says the president says that
he cannot work with you.
And that for obvious reasons, he cannot work with you.
What were those obvious reasons?
He didn't state.
You should know.
And that, I don't know.
But he says it's obvious.
It wasn't obvious to me. And that by close of day, I'll be informed. So I should consider some 3 parastatals that I'll be shifted to as either deputy CEO or CEO. But as for the castle, I should forget it. I can't stay there any longer. That's how the conversation ended. Of course, at the end of that day, I didn't get a call. Three days later, I drove to Mr. Attah. And this is the first time I'm mentioning his name at Westlands.
His home.
His home. I got the same information. Oh, Koku, you know, Prof is dead. And John says he cannot work with you, so are you going to go back to the bank?
Wow.
Yeah.
After that
after this number of years, go back to the bank. Uncle Attah, well, you know, this is what John is saying. Hey! Paul, when I left Uncle Attah's house that morning, and I didn't commit suicide, it is not in my DNA to come. Look, I couldn't believe it.
What did you tell Mercy?
The third one was Henry Martin Newman. Today I'm opening up.
Oh, the chief of staff.
Yes.
Your man.
Now,
your boss.
Between Attah and Omani, this was even before the burial of President Mills.
Yes, the date you are mentioning.
Yeah, before the burial. Martin Newman's own was after the burial.
What did he say?
The same message. And this was in his official bungalow at Cantonments, Chief of Staff bungalow.
Yeah, where Chief of Staff.
So he asked to see me and I went. The same story that, well, his own started that, well, Sani, oh, you leave. Oh, believe, no, you leave for some 6 weeks. By the time you come back, we shall consider your political future. Mr. Newman, I've never said this story, but after 12 years, to the extent that you people continue to sit down and let John Mahama and his boys play the victim as if I'm the bad person. Mr. Newman, after 12 years, I'm mentioning your name. Uncle Attah, after 12 years, I'm mentioning your name. Because I will not allow them to play the victim any longer as if I'm the bad person. I have always been the victim. But for the sake of cohesion, I have kept quiet. But after 12 years, I will mention the names. Then the whole world know that the victim that John Mahama is playing is fake. I am the real victim. So Martin Newman tells me that John Mahama says that he cannot work with me, so I should leave the presidency. At that point, I said, well, Omani has told me, Uncle Attah has told me, Martin Newman, you are telling me, please go and tell the president that I'm not going on leave and I'm not leaving the presidency because we have an election to win and I have to protect the legacy of President Mills.
You were defying the new
I was
president.
well, he hadn't spoken to me.
You can't do that.
Oh, listen, let me finish. So that's how I responded. I said, I'm not going anywhere. However, I'm a very regimented person. And you are a lawyer and an astute administrator. When President Mills wanted to appoint me, he got you to write to me officially.
So right.
So write.
And sack me.
And sack me. So that when I leave the presidency and I step out and anybody asks me, Koku, why have you left? Because the whole ploy that go on leave it was a ploy. Immediately you leave, they will say you have left. You don't like John Mahama. That's after the death of President Mills, you have left. Now there's something I haven't told you. The day President Mills died, Paul. By the time I returned from the 37, my father, General Anyidoho, was seated in my office at the castle.
What did he tell you?
He had come to look for a son.
For what?
Who he knew that would be traumatized because of the death of his political father. He came, gave me his ties to whip on. But when he finished, you know what he told me? Koku, the president is going to be sworn, the new president is going to be sworn in tonight. You are not allowed to stay away from the swearing in. You will go to that swearing in. So gather yourself as a man and go to the swearing in. I know what I'm telling you as a father. Don't stay away from the swearing in. Paul, I obeyed my father and didn't stay away from the swearing in. Everything we could do to support John Mahama to take over. But after he got sworn in, this is what I had to go through. So I told Martin to write.
Yes, did he write?
Of course, that letter never. You know, you are doing this job and people are giving you some epithet, the bull. So people think that Tafla is a bull, Ujibo. So they can, corner you. So
has the letter come till today?
The letter didn't come.
Till 2016?
It never came.
Why didn't you ask to see John Mahama himself?
As president?
Yes, why didn't you ask for money that, okay, I hear you, but I would like to talk to President Mahama?
I mean, my position was that, to the extent that he himself hasn't told me anything, so me, I'll stay there and work. But of course.
You can't stay there and work.
So I stayed.
Okay.
And that is why after 2012 victory, they moved to the Flagstaff House. If you want to stay at the castle, stay there.
So you didn't go to the Flagstaff House?
Who was going to? I didn't even know they were going to move. I came to office one day. They had moved. So even as a remnant at the Flagstaff House, one afternoon, Valerie Sawyer sends me a message. About 3 p.m., the message came. I should make sure that by close of day, I pack out of the castle.
She as deputy chief of staff?
I don't know what post she was holding at the Flagstaff House. But you, Valerie, it was because of your father. Otherwise, in the Koku Hill campaign itself, did you ever follow us on any campaign trail?
But that was her house.
Fine. So President Mills rewarded your father. And what people don't know, this deputy chief of staff position, Paul, it is a certain Koku Anidowo again.
Who created it?
When we won, and the president was, because Alex was the campaign coordinator, a lawyer. But he wasn't going to make Alex chief of staff because it's a huge administrative position. Yeah. He wasn't going to make Alex AG. He told me because Alex hasn't practiced his law deeply in Ghana. So if I make him AG, he will fail. Yeah. And I don't want him to fail. And I said, sir, but if he's a campaign coordinator, and it's more than likely that you do 8 years, does anything stop you from creating the office of deputy chief of staff? So Alex will understudy Martin Newman. And if you create it, then because of, you are talking about Valerie also, they can operate from that angle. Oh God. Look, subsequently, Alex had a certain issue around the Woyomo case. I was the one who came to Alex's aid. He never stopped thanking me. So when today they use him to go and set up some amorphous heritage, Attah's heritage something, just to stampede me out of what I have been doing. Then let me come to Neil Ante Vanderboy. Why I'll refer to him that way. In as much as we were all sons of the president. After we won, he thought he could take the law into his own hands. So the president goes on an official trip to China. Look, and President Mills was vetting his travel lists. If you were not supposed to be on it, you won't be on it. Now, Paul, a lot of the jealousy that came around me was that I was a speechwriter. I was the image manager. I was the PR person. I was the one managing the press corps. So I had official duties to perform on those presidential trips. Neil Lante and the other people had no official trip. Sometimes they will go through state protocol, get their names on the list, but the president will vet, take off their list. So the thing became, why is Koku now become the beloved son?
Maybe they thought you were taking off the list, not the president.
They knew it wasn't me.
Okay.
So on this trip to China, the president, we are there in China. Then Neil Lante arrives with a huge business delegation. The president gets wind of it because chief of staff has called him to say, Neil Lante has left the presidency without any permission. Are you the one who gave him the permission? President says no. Some of the businessmen are alleging that he collected money from them before he brought them to the trip. The president hears. And the president says, Koku, because of your relationship with me, I'm going to send you. Go and tell him how angry I am. He's not supposed to be here and he's here. If he doesn't get on the next plane back to Ghana, I will make sure the chief of staff dismisses him, and that will be at the end of his political career. Paul, so I have this unpleasant duty of having to go and meet my brother and friend and pass on this information. Fast forward, President Mills dies, and that's what Neil Lante uses to buy his way into the Mahama camp. Don't mind Koku. All of us, he was ditching us to Mills. And so as for me, Mahama, I was not part of any anti. That's how wicked and evil Neil Lante is. And today he walks around saying that he held my hand into the NDC. I've just told you my story of Bema camp.
Has he said that?
Oh, no. Oh, he says that he held my hands to Mills. Recently he says he brought me into the NDC. You, Neil Lante, you brought me into the NDC. So, Paul, all I've said tonight is that after 12 years, for the first time, 24th July this year, we saw the sun. People don't pay attention to, but I pay attention because I now understand realms.
What is? I don't understand. The early morning?
No. Since 24th July, 2012, it has rained
every day.
Every 24th July.
Are you serious?
For 11 years.
Are you serious?
This year, the sun was up. Because the Otuam family of President Mills for the first time appeared at Asumdwe Park to remember him and celebrate him. The realms have changed. He is smiling. And people will see that there is a God who rules in the affairs of men on this earth.
How will they see it?
They will see it.
In December?
Samuel Attah says that he will finish me spiritually, physically, and legally. I serve a living God. I serve a living God and a righteous God. And I'm saying today, this year, we saw the sun. If they don't understand it, I understand it.
Cadman said something, that the lady that was presented as Professor Mills' mother is 80, and Professor Mills would have been 80. Are they the same age?
That's up to them.
But where is this family from?
Good. All public records, Paul, have always stated that President Mills hailed from Ekumfi Otuam.
Yes, we all know that.
So, Fanti's accounts inherit matrilineally.
Correct.
No, be so.
Yeah.
We inherit patrilineally.
Yeah.
I went to Ekumfi Otuam a couple of times with President Mills as candidate and then even president. Ekumfi Otuam. Oh yeah, Amanzi Baku Ebimbi was a man. So I know Ekumfi Otuam. Of course. Other things maybe I don't know. But in 2012, so 2020, thank you. This story is very important. Good. So John, you were asking about Asumdwe Park. Good. So President Mills died. We bury him at Asumdwe. So this Cadman Mills on the screen.
Put it on the screen for people to see, please. You're on the touch screen. Let it come on the screen. Okay, they'll do that very soon. Yes.
So this is Cadman Attah Mills.
In the red?
In the suit.
Yeah, the suit's in the middle, yeah.
Now, that's Kofi Attah Mills.
In the cloth?
No, to the right of the guy in the cloth.
Okay.
The guy
yes,
in the
yes,
the
yes,
guy
I've
in the
seen
gold
blue
cloth.
shirt, the blue shirt, yeah.
These are the Kofi Otwan people. Oh. So me, I'm not in that picture. Oh.
Yes.
That's Cadman Mills. Now the guy or the man in the gold cloth is called Eja Aqua. Production, can you now give me the Asumdwe Park picture? Good. Now this is the same Eja Aqua.
Oh yeah.
Now with me, 21st July 2024. That's just about a week ago.
Yeah.
So if this same Eja Aqua is in a picture with Cadman Mills and Sami Attah Mills, and now it's in a picture with me, how then do you say that this group of people are illegal and are imposters? This is the story, Paul. This is the, how do you now say that an Eja Aqua, according to tradition, ono na otu nsogu mununudo and sana.
The coffin.
The dead body. What busha otu nsogu mununudo. According to tradition, before you can even bath and prepare the body for burial. This is Eja Aqua.
He did that.
So who says that I'm dealing with some imposters? Now, so 2020, when Asumdwe Park, so John Mahama left in 2016, 2017. Asumdwe Park was a horrible state. Can we see Asumdwe Park at least?
Yeah, let's see some of it.
Let's see some of Asumdwe Park.
They have it.
Yeah. Let viewers see what Asumdwe Park look like. This is how the frontage look like.
Yeah.
Just very ordinary and
just move on.
And drab. Let's move on. This is how the tombstone look like there. But you see another side of the tombstone. So this is how it was.
This is wretched.
Very extremely wretched.
Wow.
Now look at this, Paul. At a point in time, we were using cement blocks
to hold it.
To hold it. This is the
former president.
This is the covering that John Mahama left on the tombstone. This horrible covering.
For the former president.
For the former president, the man who made you running mate, whose death you benefited from by becoming president that night. You buried him, and this is how you left his tombstone. I will go there every year with my people, Clarissa, Adolf, Sami and Co. Go and clean up the place and drape it in our green and white colors before we can even do 24th. This is how it is. Then let's see how it looks like now, after I begged Anado to do it. So this is what it looks like now.
Oh, this is nice.
This is what I begged Anado to do. When he gave me the opportunity to meet him in 2020, Koku, the question was direct. Koku, what can I do for you?
That's what the president asked you.
The president asked Koku, what can I do for you? This is a blank check.
Blank check. You could have said anything.
Ask for V8 and Prado and diplomatic passport. You understand?
Yeah.
And this was one-on-one in his office. And that was the first time I entered that Flagstaff House presidential office. Because under John Mahama, I never entered.
Okay.
And President Musi didn't use that place.
Yeah.
Because under John Mahama, I was declared a persona non grata at the Flagstaff House until Julius came in and allowed me some type of entry. Later on, our relationship got spoiled because he said he was compelled to get rid of me. Anyway, so when President Mahama Akufo-Addo, sorry, Koku, what can I do for you? I didn't ask for Prado. I didn't ask for V8. I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for diplomatic passport. I didn't ask for appointment. I didn't ask for contract. I said, Your Excellency, I beg you, Asumdwe Park, can you build it for me and for the nation? This is 2020. 2 years from now will be 2022. We shall remember 10 years of the passing of President Mills, whether you like it or not. God being so good, you will still be president. But I remember President Mills used to tell me stories about you and him.
We heard that.
We've heard that several.
Yeah.
So that chair that you are sitting on, the man sat on it before. I beg you, I'm on my knees. Do Asumdwe Park, because in 2 years from now, when it's 10 years and we're remembering it and it's in that horrible state, when the dishonor comes to your seat, it will come to the Republic. Already I get calls from far and near because of my closeness with him. And he said, and I said, if you don't do it, the politics that we do in this country, the people who didn't do it will turn around and say, they did it, and you came to destroy it. That's when he stood up and said, Koku, consider it done. Consider it done, then he gave the Koda, Coastal Development Authority, not me. Koda did everything. Paul, this was 2020. When the sword was being cut, Kofi Attah Mills, the son of the president, was present when the sword was being cut. So when Cadman and Sami, brothers, and inheritance is not about brothers. It's about sonship. So Kofi was there, the son, the only child. So we cut the sword construction. Now, fast forward 2022, when now the things are about to be commissioned. That's when they go and form this heritage movement. Quickly, overnight. Then Neil Lante and Samuel Attah now go and hold a press conference. They look for all the rub, the koto rub, the akobam, alobam, or any painful substance put under their eyes and started weeping publicly that I have gone to dig up the grave and run away with the remains of President Mills. I've gone to give it to Akufo-Addo to go and perform rituals. Neil Lante, Van der Poel, and Samuel Attah Mills. That is what they did. Heinous crime, a heinous crime they've committed against me. All over the country and over the world. Koku, what have you done? Koku, what have you done? But the God who made Joseph prime minister when his brothers thought they were selling him stood up for me. So now the Otuam family calls me and they summon me. Why did you go and dig up the remains of our son? And I explained to them in detail that, please, it was that horrible wooden covering that the contractor was removing to create the new thing that you are seeing. The man, Koku, from today, we miss our family staff and Rod. We will support and protect you to the very end. Now, what even made matters worse was that Cadman had arrived in the country, rushed to Cape Coast in political suit, put some cloth around his waist, and said he's Ebusuapenyi for something and Abin family. And the Otuam people say, if you have gone to Cape Coast, we don't come from Cape Coast. Inti ezi Ebusuapenyi ezi ni wo mami fi wo Cape Coast. President Muslim mami ofri Otuam nasifri Asama.
Is Cadman and Mills not the same mother?
Oh!
Are they not the same mother?
That is where we are getting to now.
Is that correct?
That is the story now.
They are not the same mother?
That is the story we are hearing.
I don't understand.
That is the story we are hearing.
Is Samuel and Prof the same mother?
That is the story we are hearing.
What is the story we are
hearing?
The
story is that if you Cadman, Akozi Ebusuapenyi, wo mami fe wo Cape Coast, what's the President Mills ofri Otuam? Abazintina inche wo mami kroa. Ambezi Ebusuapenyi wo Otuam Ebusuam Ekozi Ebusua wo Cape Coast.
Is Professor Mills a twin?
No, it's not a twin. That time is a surname. So their fathers, all right. I mean, they are paternal siblings.
But not maternal.
Oh, that's what we are hearing now.
Then they are not relatives.
Thank you.
In a
Akan custom. That is what we are hearing. And I am not saying it. When you got up to stand up against me, he said, if it was not for you, God, the Lord, where would I be? When the enemies rose up against me. So it is God. This matter would not have been a matter. But you, Cadman, after Samia Tagos and Neil Lante used all the koto, alobam, akobam, ginger, paposhito to put under their eyes and cry in this country that I have gone to dig up the remains. When you, Cadman, came, you ran to Cape Coast. There, where Ebusuapenyi was Cape Coast. Now these people are saying that, these Otuam people. And so this year, they wrote Atamus Institute, Paul, after the commissioning of Asumdwe Park. And let me also add. So this Neil Lante Samidia group, can you believe that they actually made a representation to President Akufo-Addo not to come and commission the park?
Why?
After the man had built it all.
Why?
That they have issues with me. And the president told them that he will commission the park. He came that Sunday in the company of his vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, with service commanders in their uniform, police band. I brought in the Achimota School Choir because I'm an alma mater. President Mills himself was an alma mater. John Mahama was invited. He didn't show up.
Are you serious?
Yes!
At the commission of Asumdwe Park.
We had members of the diplomatic corps, other chiefs.
That's a story. NDC rejects invitation to inauguration of
Thank you.
Renovated Asumdwe Park. Park.
And Frima, Madam Frima Pare, Chief of Staff, at 3-4 meetings, insisted, Koku, we appreciate how you have championed this cause, but because it's a government project, the president insists, I insist that the former president and the NDC will be invited. I said, no problem. But they invited them, they didn't come. And since 2022, that's what they do. They won't come for any official thing. Then they wait. They come and filibust and make noise. And in Kwasini Ferry and Ejuaremu. If I were some of them, I would never set foot at Asumdwe Park. Yet they can go now, stand in it, and want to claim the glory. When they had no hand in the construction of that Asumdue Park. Yet, I, Koku Anyido, the person who constructed it, I must be vilified. I will take no vilification any longer from this year. It's over. The nonsense has stopped. Just yesterday, my 8-year-old daughter, she died at 8. She would have been 12 yesterday, July 31st. She died, I get no sympathies. Nothing. One of John Mahama's boys, Difagunu, goes to write publicly that I deserve the death of my daughter. Because of my wickedness, I've been taking Mahama to shrines all over Ghana and across the world to kill him. But I've not been able to kill John Mahama, so I murdered my own daughter, Paul, to use her blood for rituals to eliminate John Mahama. Jesus Christ.
We apologize for him. I'm sure he was.
Look! And that's how wicked I am. I'm callous. I'm heartless. I didn't even go for the burial. I didn't go for the funeral. At that point, Paul, I stopped being a politician. I started being a father because I have 4 other children who are alive. I shall not be accused of murdering my own daughter because of politics. And that I want to murder John Mahama, so I've murdered my daughter. So the case is running in a Tema High Court.
Oh, so he's sued?
Oh, why not? I need to clear my name. Danyido whole name. My children. Because this thing called politics, that people want to just run people down, not me and Danyido whole family, not my mother's side, the Chegan side. No, it won't happen again. It won't continue. And guess who is Jifagunu's lawyer? Edu Jitamakulu.
In the case?
In the case.
Defending him?
He's defending Edu Jitamakulu in court.
But they could have apologized and just...
Thank you!
They could have apologized.
But Mahama will not tell them to come and apologize. So he sits pretty on it, pretends he knows nothing about it, and he's the one. They do it in his name.
Is that why you hate John Mahama?
I don't hate him. I've never hated him. 2016, Asedun Ketia was nowhere to be found. I was Deputy General Secretary.
Yes.
In charge of operations. Comfortable lead press conference.
Yes, comfortable lead press
Good.
conference.
I held a press conference because Julius Debra, Chief of Staff, had called me that the president says they cannot find Asedun Ketia.
They cannot find him.
His phones were off.
General Secretary.
They couldn't find him. His phones were off. So Koku, as deputy in charge of operations, we can't find your boss. His phones are off. But Sadi Samia Wuku, Mark Menu and co. Today, this 1-minute press conference, another minute press conference, the president says you should do something. Paul, hence the comfortable lead press conference. I went to my team. We gathered some figures. That's why I was very measured in that press conference, and I only said, and I was very frank, that parliamentary didn't look good. But presidential, per what we have gathered, John Mahama is in a comfortable lead. I didn't say Attah Mills is in a comfortable lead. I said John Mahama is in a comfortable lead. The next morning, BBC, Deutsche Welle, a few international came to my office that they want to be sure about what I'm saying. Because these figures, I said, Master, I have the statistics and I have put it out. I have not declared results. I don't owe you an explanation. They left. Later on that day, 2-3 of my aides come and call me and say, I should come and watch television. This is John Mahama, President, Commander-in-Chief, flag bearer of the NDC, at his official residence, now flanked by the lost Asedun Ketia.
To concede defeat. To
concede defeat. Asedun Ketia was in a green and white batakari with a black baseball cap. He had turned the baseball cap, the front to the back. What was it? And a broad grin on his face. And John Mahama conceded defeat. Paul, do you know they never called me at the headquarters to tell me that they were going to do that? The height of treachery and betrayal. The height, the zenith.
What about Pakwesi himself? He was alive then. He was vice president.
He was vice president. A vice president who you, John, you had a secretariat with official mouthpiece. Did you ever hear that Pakwesi himself had a spokesperson?
Did you hear Mr. Ajenibuati?
Who was as vocal as the others used to be? So, Paul, I said the height of treachery. They betrayed me. They left me in the battlefront. So NPP thought that I was the only person who didn't want Nanado to become president. Fast forward, that's why in 2018, that innocuous interview, they said I was going to stage a coup. I was picked up like Osama bin Laden. Sent to CID headquarters. They went to my house with motorcade, went and searched my house. Then they decided they won't grant me bail, put me in the BNI. When I was driving here this evening, I drove past
But
the
it was
police.
John Mahama who came to get you out.
Beautiful